Exposing the truth behind Trump's new truck tariff. What most people don't know about its impact on the auto industry. The American auto industry was rocked this week as President Trump announced a sweeping 25% tariff on all imported medium and heavy-duty trucks, effective November 1st, 2025. This sudden move, following a national security investigation, leaves companies scrambling to adjust their supply chains and strategies. The tariff targets the backbone of U.S. commerce, delivery vans, semis, and work trucks, aiming to boost domestic manufacturing but creating deep uncertainty, especially for companies with international operations. With no clear exemptions for Mexico or Canada, the industry faces a seismic shift that could impact everything from consumer prices to American jobs. As the deadline looms, the nation watches to see if this gamble will protect U.S. factories or disrupt the economy. This new tariff doesn't hit your everyday pickup truck or family SUV. It's aimed squarely at the backbone of America's logistics and infrastructure, the big rigs, delivery vans, garbage trucks, and specialty vehicles that keep our cities and businesses moving. These are the vehicles that haul our groceries, deliver our packages, collect our waste, and support construction and emergency services. Without them, daily life would grind to a halt. Major automakers like Stellantis and GM, who manufacture heavy-duty trucks in Mexico and Canada, now face tough decisions. They can try to absorb the extra costs, pass them on to customers through higher prices, or even consider shifting production to avoid the tariff. Each option comes with its own set of challenges, from potential job losses to supply chain disruptions. Foreign companies like Volvo, which have invested millions in building state-of-the-art factories in Mexico, are suddenly left in limbo. Their business models, carefully planned around cross-border trade, are now upended overnight, forcing them to rethink their strategies and possibly delay expansion plans. The uncertainty doesn't stop there. Allies like Japan and South Korea, who also export trucks to the U.S., find themselves caught in the crossfire, with no exemptions or clear path forward. This could strain international relationships and disrupt long-standing trade agreements. The hardest hit? Local businesses and municipalities that depend on these trucks every day. Higher prices could mean delayed upgrades to aging fleets, reduced services, and increased costs for everyone, from small business owners to city governments trying to balance tight budgets. For small trucking companies, a 25% price hike on a new vehicle isn't just a setback, it could be devastating. Many operate on razor-thin margins, and the added expense might force them to keep older, less efficient trucks on the road, or even close their doors for good. The ripple effect is real. As transportation costs rise, so do the prices of goods and services across the country. From groceries to building materials, everyone will feel the impact, making this tariff a nationwide issue, not just an industry problem. The North American truck industry is a tightly woven web, with vehicles and parts crossing borders multiple times before reaching U.S. roads. Every day, thousands of trucks and components move seamlessly between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada, highlighting just how interconnected the continent's manufacturing has become. This cross-border flow isn't just about finished vehicles, it's about a constant exchange of parts, expertise, and labor that keeps assembly lines running and dealerships stocked. Mexico is the top exporter of medium and heavy-duty trucks to the U.S., with production tripling since 2019 and billions in U.S.-made parts shipped south for assembly. Mexican factories have become vital hubs, where American engineering meets skilled Mexican labor. These plants don't just assemble trucks, they create jobs, foster innovation, and help keep costs competitive for American consumers. The relationship is symbiotic. U.S. suppliers depend on Mexican demand, while Mexican plants rely on American technology and components. Canadian plants, like GM's in Ontario, also rely on U.S. components to build trucks for American buyers. Canada's auto sector is deeply integrated with its southern neighbor, with parts and vehicles often crossing the border several times before a truck is finished. This back-and-forth movement is essential for maintaining high standards and meeting the demands of the North American market. Trade agreements like USMCA have made this integration possible, optimizing efficiency and cost. By reducing barriers and setting clear rules, these agreements have encouraged investment and allowed North American manufacturers to compete globally. The result is a supply chain that's not just efficient but resilient, able to adapt to changing markets and consumer needs. The new tariff threatens to unravel this system, penalizing a supply chain that supports American jobs as much as foreign ones. If costs rise, it's not just foreign workers who suffer. American employees, suppliers, and even truck buyers could feel the impact. The ripple effects could be felt in communities across all three countries. Critics argue it's not just a tax on imports, it's a tax on a cross-border manufacturing process that's been mutually beneficial for decades. They warn that disrupting this delicate balance could lead to higher prices, lost jobs, and a less competitive North American industry overall. Disrupting this balance could hurt U.S. parts suppliers and destabilize the entire North American auto industry. Small businesses in particular may struggle to adapt, and the uncertainty could stall future investments in innovation and expansion. The future of this integrated model now hangs in the balance. As policymakers debate the next steps, the stakes are high, not just for automakers, but for workers, communities, and consumers across North America who depend on a thriving, interconnected truck industry. The auto industry is now sharply divided, with major players taking clear and sometimes opposing stances on the new tariff policy. Boardrooms are tense, and the stakes are enormous. Every decision made in these meetings could reshape the future of American manufacturing and global trade. Ford, which builds all its Super Duty trucks in the U.S., is one of the most vocal supporters of the tariff. For them, the policy is a game changer. It gives Ford a significant advantage over competitors who rely on foreign production. Executives see this as a chance to reinforce their commitment to American jobs and manufacturing. For Ford, this is a clear win. Their trucks remain price competitive, and their Made in America strategy finally pays off in a big way. Dealers proudly display American flags, and customers are reminded that buying Ford supports U.S. workers. The company's brand identity is now more closely tied to national pride than ever before. Stellantis, on the other hand, faces a much tougher road. All Ram heavy-duty trucks are built in Mexico, and the new tariffs mean billions in unexpected costs. The company is now scrambling to respond, lobbying fiercely against the policy and warning of higher prices, potential job losses, and a threat to their North American operations. General Motors finds itself caught in the middle. Some of its trucks are built safely in Michigan, but others roll off assembly lines in Canada and are now subject to the new tax. This forces GM into a complex balancing act as they weigh the costs of shifting production, renegotiating supply contracts, and keeping their vehicles affordable. The new tariff system rewards companies with deep roots in the U.S., while punishing those with global supply chains. Automakers who invested in American factories are suddenly in a much stronger position, while those who relied on international parts and labor face tough choices and mounting pressure. The result is a dramatic shakeup in the competitive landscape. Automakers are rethinking where and how they build their most profitable vehicles. Some are considering moving production back to the U.S., while others explore new partnerships or automation to offset rising costs. The industry is in flux, and no one is sure what the future holds. For American workers, the stakes have never been higher. Jobs, wages, and entire communities hang in the balance as automakers make critical decisions. The next few years will determine not just the fate of companies, but the future of the American auto industry itself. The 25% truck tariff will be felt far beyond automaker boardrooms. Expect higher prices for trucks, costs that will be passed on to businesses, contractors, and ultimately, consumers. Shipping, construction, and even groceries could get more expensive as transportation costs rise. Supporters say the policy will create U.S. factory jobs by forcing companies to build trucks domestically. But critics warn that disrupting the cross-border supply chain could hurt American parts suppliers, leading to layoffs and lost business. The net effect on jobs is uncertain. Some U.S. assembly lines may boom, while parts factories could suffer. For many workers, the promise of new jobs comes with the risk of others disappearing. The true impact will depend on how companies and trading partners respond. As the dust settles, the winners and losers of the truck tariff are finally coming into focus. Ford and U.S.-based suppliers stand to gain, protected from foreign competition and poised for significant growth. Stellantis and GM, with major operations in Mexico and Canada, face steep new costs and tough decisions ahead. American businesses and consumers will likely pay more for goods and services as higher truck prices ripple through the entire economy. The cross-border supply chain, built for efficiency, now faces significant disruption and uncertainty. In the end, this tariff could boost some American jobs while putting others at risk, leaving the entire industry and the economy in uncharted and unpredictable territory.